Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, and it's now time for round 5 here in Le Mans for the French GP, and it's time for the dry race of Le Mans. So in pole position is Grant with Maverick Vinales in the front row with Zarco in third, Bagnaia, Mir and Miller in the second row, Marquez, Espargaro, Morbidelli, Quattraro, Rins and Martin, Espargaro, Nakagami, Oliveira, Leccaona, Bastianini, Binder, Petrucci, Rossi, Marina, Savadori and Marquez at the back of the grid. So we now look to the lights from the best possible position, soft tyres enabled, and away we go! Good start as always. Ooh, quite a little bit of a wheelie there, caught us off guard ever so slightly there, but we're still going to go into the whole shot position with the amount of speed, a massive amount of speed as Maverick Vinales, massive contact from Vinales as he pushes Grant wide, he pushes his teammate wide, determined to get up at the inside of the British rider, but the British rider will fight back immediately, pushing the Spaniard Maverick Vinales out a little bit wide, and we once again reclaim the lead. So that is the only part we've been overtaken already in this particular part of the race. But goodness me, what a start that was. A great start, unfortunately hindered by Maverick Vinales launching up at the inside and giving us the big don't argue. It was a very aggressive move from Vinales, similar to what Alex Rins gave me in Jerez last time out, going into the left-hander for the Jorge Martinez Aspar. But now onto the right-hand side we'll go for the very first time, going into Garage Vert. Very difficult corner to get right sometimes. If you go in there with a bit too much speed, you're going to go way too far. But I tell you what, guys, you've seen me here in Le Mans before, but if you haven't, I'm pretty good. I'm a dab hand here in Le Mans, so I do feel very confident. Getting pole position was relatively easy, to be quite honest with you. So I'm thinking back-to-back victories could be in the future for the number 47 on board the Monster Energy Yamaha. So one lap down, or almost one lap down, and we're up by 0.3 of a second to one of our teammates in Maverick Vinales. Now Fabio Quattraro is nowhere to be seen, not entirely sure where the Frenchman is right now. He struggled in the qualifying session, as a matter of fact, which is great for us because, of course, don't forget, Quattraro is your metaphorical red plate leader, leading by 15 points over the man on your screen right now. But Vinales is definitely trying to take advantage of this one. Beating Rossi here in 2017 was his last victory, and he's hoping he can get another victory here today against us in the difficult circumstances of Le Mans. Now, it could have been a gamble, but I did go for the soft front and the soft rear. I do believe a couple of the other riders opted for a few soft and medium combinations, but for myself, happy to choose the soft option combination for this particular Grand Prix. I did find that the soft works well with the Yamaha, much better than it did with the Aprilia, as on the left hand side there is the familiar sight, the familiar opponent, the formidable opponent in Johan Zarco in his home Grand Prix. Where will the Frenchman try and make a move here in Le Mans? I know it's going to happen, but it just depends on where. Could be in the Blue S's, could be in Shimano-Buff, could be into La Chapelle. Wherever he fancies it, you better believe he'll be having a go if the opportunity arises to it. Now, I'm not using power setting 3 right now because I don't think we need it. I'm pretty confident with the second power setting, and I don't think we need to be using too much fuel to keep Zarco, Vinales, Bagnaia, Mir, Marquez, Miller and Rins at bay right now. So into the Blue S's for the second time of asking. We are still in a good, comfortable position, just around 0.3 to 0.4 of a second clear from Johan Zarco in second place. But I do feel that this is going to be a lap that is going to give us a good indication of whether or not we can break away from the pack. So across the line we will go. We were temporarily the fastest man on track with a 1:31.450. However, the French opponent in second position just a couple of hundredths of a second quicker than what we were on that previous lap time. But I'm still very confident. I'm guessing at this point Zarco was using power setting 3, and he also had a little bit of a scrap with Vinales into La Chapelle just the lap prior. So we'll see what he can produce on this particular lap. But 9 laps of the French GP here on DrAce's channel. And of course, if you're enjoying the video so far, I implore you to hit that like button and consider subscribing for a lot more DrAce content. But now onto the left hand side for Musée for turn 7. We'll slowly bring on the acceleration and bring on the power and slowly bring on the brakes, quite gradually and in control, going into Garage Vert for the right-hander. As I mentioned on the previous lap, innocuous corner can be really easy to make a mistake there, but we do pretty well on the acceleration coming out of the 8th corner and now charging down towards the straight of Shimano-Buff. So onto the brakes for the left-hander of turn 9. We were a little bit tentative going into the 9th corner there. I do apologise for being a little bit too lackadaisical on the brakes, but we now need to really bring on the power, because a few moments like that where we just maybe go a little bit too gentle, a bit too soft, could result in a big mistake, and allowing the Frenchman through will be a death sentence, quite frankly, because I know the Frenchman behind us in second place, Johann Zarco, is too quick to let him through at any particular point. So let's get back to it, ignore the minor mistake, and then just continue pushing very, very hard. Now look on the left-hand side of your screen, towards the bottom left-hand side, you will see there's a very small amount of gaps there, just above the name of the corner, going into Dunlop, of course. There is a little gap from the middle of the pack towards the outscoring point positions. So there's no crashes yet, and anything could happen. So if anyone makes a mistake, even including myself, you could find yourself battling for a middle pack position rather than the top spot that you're eyeing up for a potential Grand Prix victory. And of course for us this would be a very, very important championship result. Fabio Quartararo is nowhere to be seen right now into the top 10, I believe. He might be in 9th position, but unfortunately I can't quite see him as the graphic cuts off at 8th place. So I have absolutely no idea how many points we're going to take away from Fabio, but what I do know is he will be losing at least, at minimum, around 10 or 15 points. That is huge for the championship. Yes, you might be thinking it's already round 5, why are you thinking about the championship? But the reality is we're always thinking about the championship. That's how you got to do, because we want to move on to MotoGP 22 with another MotoGP championship. It would be our third, but this time with the factory Monster Energy Yamaha team. So that is exactly what we're trying to do here. Think about the championship first, make sure you get those good, solid results from Grand Prix victories to podiums to even damage limitations in those races where you really, really can't seem to muster up any better performances and just can't seem to do any better than what you've done already. But we're going to go across the line now and look at that lap time. 1:30.861. Stupendous from the man on board the Yamaha, but now we must continue this way. We must focus on getting the right lines, and never mind about that, we've just made a massive mistake going into the Dunlop chicane. Now unfortunately we will get penalty time unless... There you go, no, we didn't get anything. And I guess it's not penalty time in MotoGP, of course it's the metaphorical slap on the wrist with the sort of long lap penalty warnings, the track limit warnings. I couldn't think what you called them there, but there you go. No track limit warnings for us right now, and on the lap 5 we have begun to pull away, and then unfortunately it's all come back again because we made that simple mistake, and that's all that was needed. Roughly 0.8 of a second, maybe if not more, down to 1/10 of a second, down to 0.2 of a second, with Johann Zarco right behind. And now we made another mistake going into Garage Vert. Have we? Oh, we have. Have we succumbed to the lead? And yes, we have. Johann Zarco has now taken the lead here in Le Mans. 2 mistakes in about 4 corners. That is inexcusable for the man on your screens right now. But I'm going to try and dive back up on the inside of Johann Zarco to reclaim our position at the top spot, and we do so with stunning fashion. I don't know what's happening there. A couple of mistakes already in this Grand Prix, and it's a bit concerning. Are these soft tyres the wrong choice? Is this a tyre gamble that I should not have made? I felt great with the soft options in warm-up, into practice, and even in the qualifying session, so it made sense for me to go for the softs, but a few mistakes have been made. So across the line now, losing a second on that particular lap. It's certainly not promising, but it is what it is, you know. Get across the line and move on, forget about it, put it to the back of your mind, don't think about it now till the end of the Grand Prix. So onto the left-hand side for 3, onto the right for turn 4, looking better, much, much better. We've gained 0.6 of a second against Johann Zarco. Pecco Bagnaia is now featuring himself on the podium. Hopefully for us he could have a little bit of a ding-dong with my former rival, and still actually current rival, Johann Zarco. Our current rival, I guess, is more so Fabio Quartararo, as he's leading the World Championship, but Johann Zarco and Matt Grant is a battle we've seen for 2 years, solid within MotoGP 21. 2 seasons of absolutely fantastic racing amongst the Frenchman and the British rider. But now onto the right hand side, breaking a little bit too early there for Garage Vert, but it's still okay. We're still looking promising. We may actually improve our lap time on this particular lap. Now the goal isn't to try and just chuck in ridiculous lap times, the goal is to stay ahead of Johann Zarco with enough of a lead that if I do make a mistake, we can still guarantee a victory, as we get our first track limit warning there, guys. The first track limit warning of Le Mans, as the little warning, little reminder that you must stay within the circuit's remits, and unfortunately for this instance, Matt Grant did not. A little bit too tight to the apex for the right-hander just after Shimano buff, and that is enough to warrant the steward to tell him off. As we now bring on the power, we bring on the acceleration, still in power setting 2, and it's another improvement. It's a 1:30.716, so it's good to see that even after that last lap mishap, we can still stay on board the motorcycle and still churn out the faster lap time. So onto the left-hand side with the Alpine Stars boot, just gently getting placed to the floor. Not enough to hinder our performance or really slow the motorcycle down, but just enough to chuck out the balance for the left-hand side of the motorcycle. And we did the same, but for the opposite side, for La Chapelle in turn 6. So bringing on the power once more, and I've just noticed something. It's just been brought to my attention. You guys are probably already seeing this, but since I'm more so commentating and more so concentrating on the commentating, I've just noticed at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, the soft option tyre on the rear is looking a little bit worse for wear. It's a little bit bleak on that right-hand side, and I've got to say, it's got kind of the same with the first front tyre as well. The front tyre on the right-hand side is also taking an absolute hounding. We may need to be careful about that one, especially for those right-handed corners. For the left-hand side, we should be absolutely fine, especially going into Shimano Buff, and then for the right-hand side for turn 10. We're still looking pretty confident. Don't fear, don't panic. We did a pretty good job in Jerez last time with maintaining the tyres, and I did do that by changing the traction control. Now, I tried traction control 3 with the Yamaha in the practice, and I wasn't really a big fan. I really prefer the feeling of TCS2, so I may just stick on TCS2 for the end of the Grand Prix. I'm not entirely sure. We've got to try and gauge this one out, but across the line we will go. Is it another improvement? It isn't, but it's damn bloody close. Only 0.004 of a second slower than the previous lap time. That is consistency. If we can just stay like that, no matter how the tyres look, then I'm feeling very, very confident about this particular Grand Prix. There will be very elated signs from myself and the pits when we finally take victory here in the fantastic GP of Le Mans. And I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we've ever finished any lower than victory here in Le Mans. I'm sure we've won every single Grand Prix here in this fantastic circuit. And the same can be said for Misano if you don't count Moto E. We did do the Moto E career mode, of course, the Moto E Championship, which was very short, but it's still, I absolutely loved that particular championship where we did take victory in Misano. I don't know whether we did Le Mans in that one, I actually can't remember. But getting back to the sort of topic at hand here, and that is the rear tyre. It's looking really, really bleak now, guys. Can we hold on to the end of this Grand Prix? It looks pretty good for us right now because we are 1.4 seconds and we're still gaining advantage. The two Ducatis have nothing for us. This is a Yamaha track through and through, in my opinion. It feels fantastic with the Yamaha. It felt great with the Aprilia as well, but I just love this circuit anyway, so I guess maybe it's down to that. But we are now on to the penultimate lap, and actually the penultimate lap is coming to a close, and we're going to be 3.5 of a second quicker, if not more. Across the line we will go. It is an improvement. It's a 1:30.507 on the penultimate lap. Matt Grant in another world right now, right here in Le Mans. And I tell you what, the French fans are going to be lapping this one up. And if I do have any French subscribers, this one's for you. Shout out to you. But now onto the left-hand side, going into turn 5, we'll be braking firm for the right hand of La Chapelle. Keeping it tight here is paramount for the way I execute this corner. I love coming out of the corner with nice and smooth acceleration. Look pretty good. Obviously the tyres are getting a bit worn now, so it is a little bit more difficult. And I didn't change the traction control. I'm still sticking on 2, still sticking on power setting 2 as well. Only if we really, really need power setting 3 is when I'll swap to it. Right now, I don't think we do. Going to go into Garage Vert now, keeping it nice and tight, nice and gentle for the right-hand side for turn 8. Keep it nice and tightly nicked for turn 9, well, it would have been turn 9 coming out to Garage Vert, but now approaching Shimano Buff, which is turn 9, of course. Braking very firm just before the Moto sign there, onto the left-hand side, making a bit of a mess of that one. I really struggled upon the brakes, but I don't think it's anything to be worried about too much. We are going to lose quite a lot of time, but the gap is still a second to Johan Zarco, so I don't think you should get too excited here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get too panicked. We're still good. We're still solid. 0.8 of a second is the gap to Zarco. I think this one is well and truly in the bag, and we will be taking back-to-back victories, once in Jerez and now once in here in Le Mans. Big wheelie for the aces, big wheelie for the fans as DrAce, Matt Grant, Yamaha take another victory this season. So the end of that one then, guys. Grant, Zarco and Bagnaia are on the podium. Vinales and Mir just miss out, and there is no signs of Quartararo in your top 10, thus meaning big championship points to Matt Grant. Looking at the championship standings, and Fabio Quartararo has indeed been dethroned in his home GP by his teammate Matt Grant. So Grant is your new championship leader, 5 points clear from Quartararo, 28 clear from Johan Zarco. So looking at the Team Championship, Matt Grant and Quattraro on board the Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP team are still leading very comfortably by 74 points ahead of the Lenovo Ducati team and 96 clear from Pramac Ducati. A look at the Constructors' Championship, and that battle will continue to rage on to the end of this season. Of course, Yamaha were leading the way with 19 points ahead of Ducati and 64 points clear from Suzuki. So guys, how about that one then? I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, because that was a different kind of race. It's not often I get to just really get to the front and start churning out the lap times one after another. But I gotta say, a couple of mistakes in that one that I would need to fix for next race, especially going into the likes of Mugello, Catalunya. Easy tracks to make mistakes on, and I don't want to be making those big important mistakes in those races I really want to do well at. But guys, that is going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave you with the podium celebration, and I will see you in the next video. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and also consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.